Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, let's talk about Rick for a hot minute. Because Rick proved, today at least, that you could be a good father and still a shitty person all at the same time, right? Because there's a point where Molly goes to get some air because Christina brings up Adela. And, Molly knows that, this is going to be the hardest day that Alexis is ever going to have to sit there and endure. She's like, you know what? Listen, I want to get into an argument with my sister or whatever. So she just goes out and gets some air. She sees Rick. Rick gives her a happy birthday present or whatever. I think 12 Angry Men or something. Some play that, he also wants to go with her. So they talk and everything like that. And at some point, TJ comes up. Alexis is looking outside, sees Rick, and it's like, well, what the hell is he doing here? Now, the sad thing is, at first I defended Rick because I was like, well, Rick is there for his daughter. Listen, I get that you have your issues and everything like that. You're burying Sam, I get that. But he is there for his daughter. He's not there for you. She gets outside, and at some point, Molly and TJ leave to go inside or whatever to talk. This is where Rick effed up. Because he's just like, so what, you forgot our daughter's birthday? She's really that low on your priority list? And I'm like, dude, seriously? This is so out of pocket and so much of a scumbag move that I'm not even gonna lie. Listen, even as Rick fans, you gotta kind of look at that and be like, bro, come on. This is not the day for that. And this is exactly what she said. She was like, I don't need this out of all days. This is not what I need. They go back and forth, whatever. And, Rick is just like, well, just remember to make sure you remember about, Molly and stuff like that, since she's always last on your priority list or whatever. And he walks off, and I'm just like, seriously? I think I remember him pulling something like that before when, I think she had cancer or whatever, and he, turned her into police or whatever over, what's it, they say Mary Jane. I'm very fuzzy on the details because it was, so long ago. I remember him pulling something very similar when she had cancer. So, looking at what he did today, it's like, no, this is literally on brand for Rick. Now, let's talk about Trina, Josslyn, and Kai. I've read the comments, and even most people that were understandable about understanding her anger the first time that she saw Kai and realizing, hey, you're the person that's really effing up my grades and stuff like that. But then afterwards, it just started to become extra. I will sit there and say this much. Kai, whatever his name is, has way more patience than me. Okay? Because he went over there to sit there and try to make things right or whatever. And, Jocelyn starts fangirling whatever, and she talks to him. And then Trina comes and pretty much says, practically go and F yourself, and slams the door into his face. And I'm like, was that really necessary? You are literally being the definition of extra at this point. You have your rights to sit there and be upset that he's messing up your grades, and I get that. Okay? And even when he came in and he started trying to explain about art and stuff like that, how it was easy and stuff, I can see that he was doing kind of a poor job. But the thing was, he was attempting to sit there and try to make it right. That's the thing about college. Not everyone's going to be on your same page as far as value and education as you. It sucks. When they bring you on your grades, it sucks too. Unfortunately, that's just the luck of the draw. At least this guy actually showed up to try to make things right. And that, I can sit there and say that's way more patience than I would have had for having the door slammed in my face. At that point, I would just have the F you attitude and good luck with life and whatever you got going on. But he comes in and he says something along the lines of, I know that you do an art gallery or whatever. If somebody came in and learned about art, would you sit there and turn them away? And he says, hey, listen, I'm going to sit there and put my best foot forward. I have a really good memory, and I really want to make this work. And I'll pull my own weight and everything like that. And even come to my game and just, give it a try. And you start to sit there and see a smile. It's like, that's the Trina that I know, not whatever this bitchy version was. This is this is the one that I remember. Like that season on the Flash. When I watched the Flash, we had to sit there and deal with the asshole version of Cisco when he lost his brother, who was a dick, by the way. We had to go through 18 to 20 something episodes of him just being a blatant asshole. So I am actually very glad that she is thawing out in this episode. Okay, I guess it's time for me to be a dick again. I did not give two flying shits about Lucas blaming himself for the 18,000th time. Explain for what happened before everyone's like, oh my god, I can't believe you slept. Hear me out. I get grief. That was a sister, that was a patient, and he felt like he was a contributing factor to her death. And I get that. And that's something that will probably take a very long time. Even when counseling, you're still going to always doubt yourself into, the autopsy. Even then, you may sit there and doubt yourself afterwards. So I'm not unsympathetic towards this plight. I'm unsympathetic towards is the fact that most of us, we knew about 2 months in advance, or about a month and a half in advance of what was going to end up happening. Okay? We all knew. We all knew that not only Sam was not going to be in the show, but she was specifically going to be killed off. So for me personally, I had that time of, I don't want to sit there and say mourning, but I got, what I'm saying? Like, I went through my process of thinking back the first time Sam was just a badass. Okay? And be like, yeah, I definitely missed the character, and I don't know what they did in the latter part of her portion of the show, but I missed the character. But I guess for me, it's like I don't want to sit there and say I mourn the character because it's a fictional character, but I had my process in time to sit there and kind of get through this whole thing because I knew it was going to happen. It's now I'm at this point where it's like I saw the previews of tomorrow and they were doing a few, and I'm just like, can we just find a way to get this shit? And the only bright spot in that whole thing is we saw the previews, see the new actress, and finally get to see her face at some point. Wake up and do her Lulu thing, and other people are gonna love it. They're gonna hate it. They're gonna be like, oh, now they're gonna love it and be like, oh, she's so cool. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's not like Julian. It's like, yeah, and like here's the thing. No one's gonna be able to replace Julia, right? Because each time a person comes in, they put their own spin on it. Like she was not like Emma, and Emma's not going to be like her. Okay, any character that those two actors ever play, if they ever play the same character, they're going to do it in their own different ways. They're going to have their own mannerisms, and also they're going to have different writers. But the point is, Julian was Julian. So I never sat there and came in and was like, oh my god, I miss Julian. Or Julia. It's like, okay, I don't really care that much about the character because of the writing that much, but I'm not gonna sit there and set this high bar that I know someone else can't measure up to. It's It's the same thing if they sat there and they replaced Spencer with somebody else. Is the bar going to be high? Absolutely. But I will sit there and take this new version as the version it is. Now, by the way, he was sitting there talking about this with Maxie. Um, Jack offers Lucky a job, and he thinks about it. He's not exactly particular happy working with the WSB, but he gets a plane leaving in 24 hours. He is doing humanitarian work, but he's also going to be sitting there doing some spy espionage stuff, working to try to uncover some new political group. Meanwhile, Lucky has set the bar so low that the minute that Liz brings up Lucky, Ray knows that he's leaving. And he accepts him. He accepts him for what he is, and he understands that he's out there doing good in the world. But again, the bar is so low that he already knows that he's leaving. It's like, hey, listen, we good, we got each other. That's what matters. And it's pretty sad. It's pretty heartbreaking in a sense that you have to accept your dad as being an absentee dad, and probably kind of a deadbeat dad too, if you're going to be honest. Um, Because I'm pretty sure whatever jobs he was sitting there getting, it was enough to sit there and practically feed himself and maybe get some stuff to eat, which is actually pretty terrible in itself. Um, but like I said, some people are just not cut out to be parents. That's just the bottom line. And unfortunately, it's not. Well, yeah, let's leave it like that. Drew comes downstairs and sees Scout, Danny, and Rocco. And Scout's like, "Oh, Dad, what happened to your face?" And Drew's like, "Hey, I just kind of wasn't paying attention and being kind of a dingbat and just walked into a wall." By wall, I mean your Uncle Jason sought to beat the living hell out of me. Because, that was the perfect time for it. Sam's funeral is probably the next day after, and this is what he decides to do with his time. While the kids are upstairs sleeping. Once again, 30-year-old man that is practically running or involved with two companies, Michael, and apparently he feels that he can't sit there and take care of this problem himself. Anyway, so they talk, Scout and Drew. My whole thing is like, Drew goes to Washington. I was like, okay, when Drew goes to Washington, why can't he not sit there and take Scout with him? Let's just kind of put this aside for a minute. Alexis is all like, oh, we're going to sit there and take Danny and Scout. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now, if you want to sit there and try that BS with Jason, well, that's his battle, and he can sit there and fight that. But there's no reason why Drew can't sit there and take Scout. Seriously, politicians and stuff like that do that stuff all the time. She just lost her mom. There is no rhyme or reason why she can't sit there and go with him. Do your classes remotely. Figure it out. Make it work. There's really no excuse for that. Danny knew that he got into a fight. And later on, Rocco finds out when Nina comes over to put some makeup on his face. And of course, Drew did not tell Nina that there was more than kissing going on. I'm kind of just like, I mean, was she going to really be that appalled? I'm like, you know that he was kissing your daughter, and he's also kissing you too. And you're cool with that, so let's not pass judgment. Rocco found out it was Jason that wound up, fighting Drew and causing all that massive stuff on his face. And of course, that's another thing why Drew didn't decide to press charges. Sam said, y'all need to step up, be there for the kids, get along. You don't have to like each other, but be civil. And Drew's determined to sit there and keep that promise. Can't do much of anything else, but he could sit there and try to do that. Um, yeah, I feel like that's nearly about it. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it might be a little more, but I can't remember. Oh, Liz does see Lucky, and Lucky tells him about the job opportunity. Liz ain't happy. She expects it, but she's still not happy, and I completely understand that. Hey, you know what? You gotta go, you gotta go. What are you gonna sit there and do, right? I mean, we can all sit there and say, Lucky, you ain't shit. You're a deadbeat dad. But, I mean, and the sad thing is that I know people can sit there and say, well, Lucky is not a good dad. I mean, look at his role model. But that's not necessarily the case. Your dad or your mom can sit there and be a trash mom. You can sit there and be the best mom in the universe. So, you can't even sit there and use that. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. Um, if I forget anything, let me know in the comment section. And, or come to the live stream tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the soaps. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.